me just finish off by, let's just go back to a bit of the conversation we were having earlier about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, it's an area I feel drawn to more recently, and I've got involved with working with leaders. And so I'm just interested in your take on leadership. So what is your take on leadership? If somebody said, what's your definition of leadership?
Well, if I can even back up a little bit, because some of the people listening might go, well, I'm not a leader. In the way that I think about leadership, everybody's a leader. Anytime you're interacting with other people, even if somebody has a more formal authority over you, leadership it's about all our interactions. And one time I was talking to a man, I won't name the pharmaceutical company, but he'd just been named the worldwide head of research. So it was a very powerful position. It was a big company. And we were talking, and he goes, Art, how do you get people to listen to you? And I thought, at first I was just so struck at his openness and honesty that he could say that, because a lot of people in that position would be afraid to admit it. And even nowadays, I think it's because of certainly the younger generations are not into the old command and control and the influence of women in corporations. The old corporate model that a lot of us still have in our heads, that really came from maybe the 40s or 50s, of a really strong, powerful man or woman at the top who's telling everybody else what to do. That is so failing, and so many people, and people don't like it. People don't want to do things because they're told.
The old model is broken.
Yeah.
So what's your contribution or thinking about the emerging way of leadership? What's your take on that?
To me, it's two things that interact. One is it's about setting up environments, and by the way, one of the things I teach people how to do this energetically, but setting up environments so that you're bringing out the best in other people, or not violate what I said earlier. They're bringing out at least what's very, very good in other people. So to me, the role of a leader is, how do you bring out, the wonderful resources that people have, and then how do you get them to collaborate with you and with each other? Whether it's you and one person or you've got thousands of employees, are they all bringing out the best in each other and doing it because you're modeling it and you're setting up an environment where that happens? If you do that, everything else takes care of itself.
Those are your two big thoughts on leadership. Number one, a good leader brings out the best in others, and a good leader helps create atmospheres of collaboration,
right,
of kind of mutual support, celebration, growth. And is that the work that you do in organisations?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We do a lot of work both with leaders. I tend to do it in the context of with their team, because to me it's sort of funny. People treat leadership development and team development like it's two different things. It's like, well, who are you leading? And a lot of the work we do is getting people at any level, what they might be in maintenance, to think of themselves as leaders. They're leaders. They might be talking to somebody higher up, but they're a leader in maintenance, it's funny, even an organization as command and control as the United States Army talks about everybody's a leader, because they've discovered that in this modern complex world, it doesn't matter if you're private, you have to be thinking, you have to make this, you can't just follow some book, because things aren't that simple anymore. So even then, I thought, geez, if the military telling people that everybody's a leader, what does that say for a corporation? And
it's interesting. No, I met a couple of soldier and an ex-soldier recently, and they were giving us a presentation about leadership in the armed services here. And I was blown away by how they're saying, yes, our job is to bring out the leadership of everybody. And I thought, wow,
amazing.
Yeah. And I thought, well, has that changed, or has it always been like that? And I've just never really understood it because I've not really engaged with that area of life. I don't know. So it's
I think it is changing, but again, it's not. I've not been in the military. And interestingly, I think sometimes very socially motivated organizations in universities and stuff are often behind some of the corporations on this. It's quite amazing how some of the organizations you think, the nonprofits and the university you would think would be leading in leadership, a lot of them are actually behind.
I don't know whether you know this idea, but it's really resonated with me in the last couple of years of the idea of being a kind of servant leader. That you do lead, but you lead by serving people. And it sounds like that's kind of your approach, which is, people come to you because they want to remove their own blocks and live freer lives, but you also want to give them the tools that they can cascade that out to other people, and you're kind of in service to them. Is that how you would see yourself?
Absolutely. I do a lot of work in corporations also, and I do a lot of energy work. I don't necessarily call it that, depending on the situation. But I do a lot of executive coaching and leadership and team development. And often leaders will go and go, how do I become a better leader? And I go, you want the simplest way? You create an atmosphere in your team where people give you open and honest feedback and give each other open and honest feedback, and they'll coach you into being a great leader. They'll tell you what they need, and they'll tell you how they need it. Like if they feel safe telling you, the rest of it is just you're finding ways to do what they need.
So you help people kind of get trust and safety, by the sound of it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Just create environments of trust and safety, and to some extent it flows from, everything else flows from there, does it?
Exactly. The trust and safety, and to realize that everybody in their team has incredible things to contribute. And the old view of leadership was you had to be in charge and you needed to be smarter than other people. And in our world, we've had like a Peter Drucker, the people used to call him the dean of business consultants. The way he put it, he goes, there's been a historic reversal. And now everybody knows more than their bosses about what they do. And that they're smart leaders now realize that and bring out the best in people rather than trying to tell them what to do.
So you see one of the jobs as a leader in any area of life is a leader. Do you think a leader needs to be in touch with their own brilliance so that they can invite and encourage the brilliance of others?
Well, the good news, I think, is that I'm a total advocate of walking your talk, and the great news is you can help other people often before you have your own act together. Leadership is about handling paradox, and a lot about being an inspired entrepreneur is about handling paradox. So on one level, it's important to walk your talk. On another level, it's important not to try to be perfect and go, I can help people in the world with things that I'm still working on, and that's not being hypocritical. That makes you better at it.
Yeah, and sometimes by helping others, we help ourselves, in my experience.
I mean, you're really clear in your book about your own path to becoming an inspired entrepreneur, and I think that it's inspiring people to hear that.
Thank you.